All right, so let me quickly proceed with the session. So the objective of the webinar is to throw light on some of the new features of ADManager Plus. And by new features, I'll be talking about some of the features that were introduced in 2018 and some enhancements that were introduced in the same year. And also we'll see a couple of new enhancements that was released in the beginning of this year as well. So without any delay, let me get started. So this is the agenda for the today's session. So you might have seen this already. Now let me quickly log into the product and then let's delve into the session. So starting from the first topic here, you can see that I have already logged into the application and you can see that this is the dashboard. Now, if you've not upgraded to the latest model, you will not be able to see this particular feature. So this is a completely new UI. Now, what are the different features that we have introduced in this particular release of custom dashboard? I shall take you through one by one. So the first difference that you can see is in the earlier version, you can see that all the domains that you have configured, all the reports, the user reports, the system reports, it'll be listed one after the other, right? So we have made it a little more easier to handle. So right here on the top, where I have selected, you have an option of selecting the domain. So if I'm choosing one domain, I will get the data only for that domain. And if I'm choosing the other domain, you can see that the results are getting fetched from the AD and then it's displayed here. So that is one main difference. So now you have an option of customizing the dashboard and completely changing the way it looks. So this is the default page. We will not be altering this page. So this page is default. So there cannot be any changes done to that. But we have options to add further other screens here, other dashboard screens that you can configure, where you can bring in reports and management actions of your own. So how to go about doing that? So on the right side of the screen, you can see a create request, and right next to it, there is a settings icon. So once you click that, you can see that there is a manage dashboard option, right? So we click on that and then you have an option called add tab right here on the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a test tab and I'm going to add, right? So this is another dashboard page, if you can say that. So this is how it looks like. Now what you can do is you can click to add widgets right here. So I'm going to click on add widget, and you have an option of selecting. So these are some of the default and predefined reports that you can configure and you can bring it to your home screen. So I'm going to click and show you what each report contains. So when you click on the all object report, you can choose which domain and you can click add. So what this does is it'll bring about the number of users, groups, computers, contacts, and OU. So this will show you the most updated results. So it'll fetch from the AD and it'll be displayed here. So similarly, you can click on add widget icon right here on the right, and you can choose different categories for exchange, for contact, for security, for managed objects. By managed objects, we are talking about users without managers, unmanaged computers, computers with managers, and those kind of information. And GPO reports, where we'll be talking about let's say all the GPOs and the linked objects right here. So all the GPOs and the linked AD objects, recently created GPOs, and so on and so forth. So when you click on add widget, so like I said, you have a set of defined reports here. So the all object report and the GPO report, we've already added that. Apart from that, we have the exchange, contact, security, and manage objects, right? So besides these, you can also choose to add a specific report. Let's say you want to view a specific report result every single day, or every time you log into the application, you want to take a look at it from the dashboard. Then you have an option of going to the report as it is from the AD reports tab, and then you have an option of adding it to the dashboard. So how do I go about doing that? Once you click on AD reports, and let's say I want to view or I want to add some specific report in the dashboard. So for example, I want to view the recently modified users. So once I click that report, and I want to see the number of or what are the user accounts that have been modified in the last 7 days. And right here on the top right corner, you have an option called Add to Dashboard. So you click that option, and you have option of creating a new tab name. So we created an initial tab apart from the main default dashboard, which is the test one. So you have an option of adding this particular report, that is the recently modified users, to a new tab altogether, or you can add it to the existing tab. I'm going to choose the existing tab that I just created. And we already added 2 widgets. So we want to create a new widget. Let's say recently modified. So you can choose a name like that, and you can also add a report name. So it can be recently modified users. So once you've done that, you can hit save, and we'll go and check if that report has been added to the dashboard. So I'm going to click this tab, and right here we have the recently modified. So that was the widget name, and right here we have recently modified user, so it displays the count, right? So we do have an option of, so once this is done, you feel like making some changes to the widget name, then you can go ahead and do that. So once again, you click on manage dashboard on the right hand side, and once you click that, you have an option of editing it. So you can edit the widget name. So you can choose to enter whatever name that you want. And you also have the option of choosing the chart type. So this is right now is column, so you can move it to bar. So that is one option as well, right? So that is how you can add widgets and you can add reports of your own. So like I showed the recently modified users, all you have to do is you can go and click on any report that you want from the AD reports tab. And once you click on that specific report, you have an option of adding it to the dashboard. So once you do that, that particular report will be added to the desired tab or widget, and that can be done. You can completely customize how this dashboard can look, right? So apart from the graphical view, which cannot be edited, which cannot be modified at all, so this is pretty much set in stone. But you have option of adding tabs and then adding the necessary reports there, right? So that is one aspect of customizable dashboard. Now, right here, if you see on the RHS, you have an option called add quick links, right? So these are the quick links right here. So under AD management, we have some actions right here. For reports, we have some really popular reports that are listed right here. Similarly, for O365, for delegation, for automation, and some of the features are also listed here. So you have an option of customizing how this quick links section should also look like. So all you have to do is just click on the edit icon, and you can choose to remove or add. So you click on the remove sign here. So you remove those, and you can click on add link. So this will bring up all the user management, report, delegation, Office 365 related features that we have. So you just select the checkbox and just select the ones that you need on the quick links and add. So those will be added, and that's how you can modify how the quick link section can look like. And also you have an option of getting the complete or a one-shot view of the request from workflow. Let's say you have a number of pending requests, say that has to be reviewed from your end or approved from your end or executed. So that will, right now the awaiting request is the pending requests are 0. But if you have any of let's say some task has to be executed or approved for reviewed from your end, so when you log in, you will get a complete you will get the count of number of tickets that are pending for your approval. and we did have the help desk reset password console, so that is as it is. So this is the customizable dashboard feature. So if you're using some of the earlier versions, this feature will not be available to you. So all you have to do is you have to upgrade to our latest version and you will get this. So this feature came out towards the end of 2018, and this is one of our most important features. Right. So moving on to the next topic. So this I'll be talking about workflow. Now this feature is not exactly recent, but I still want to bring it up because it's a really important feature. And how we had it earlier was we just had one default workflow. Now with multiple business workflow, what you can do is you can create a workflow by entering a workflow name, a description, and here you can enter the number of reviewers. So you can add up to 5 reviewers, or you can add up to 5 approvers, and you can configure. So I'm just going to click let's say 2 reviewers and then 2 approvers, or you can even choose to remove. So based on the nature of the task, you can customize this workflow entirely based on your needs, and you can create a business workflow, right? So once you create a workflow, it'll be listed here. So the workflow stages are 1 requester, 2 reviewers, and 1 executor. And similarly, I want to talk about assigning rules. So earlier we had a separate section on notification and assigning rules. So we have combined it and made it into one complete packaged feature. So you have option of adding new rules here. Let me show you. So once you enter a new a rule, here you have the option of choosing the business workflow that you want to configure for this particular rule. So let's say I want this particular rule to have let's say one specific workflow for user onboarding. So you select that. Something for deprovisioning, you have a separate workflow for deprovisioning, then you go ahead and add that. And this is the one that we just created. So you can go ahead and choose that as well. And similarly, you can specify the rule criteria. Let's say if your domain name is this specific domain name, or if your action is this. For example, I'm choosing, let's say, I want to create this rule for create users, then you can go ahead and set that as a rule criteria. Similarly, you can click on this plus icon, and this will you can either set and condition or. So you can go ahead and choose many other filters as well based on which this particular rule will execute. So that's how you go ahead and do that. And since we have combined the notification and the assigning rules, so right here you have an option of setting the notification. So here you can set, so right now it's disabled. When you click on the enable icon, what it does is you can go ahead and choose the format that you want, the email format. So let's say this is for creating users. Then you can go ahead and create a new template by clicking on the new template icon right here and enter a text like this. So you can also add macros to this text. So similarly for SMS, you can go ahead and configure, and for both. So that is that. So for creation and for review and for execution, you can go ahead and set the notification, and also you can choose the priority. So the one that we have chosen is one requester, 2 reviewers, and 1 executor. So we do not have the request approver section. So if we had chosen at least say 1 approver, then we can set the notification, and the assigning can also be done in this particular step as well. So I wanted to bring this topic up because it's very important, and some of you might not have been using the latest version, so you might not be familiar with it. But if you're using this particular section, please go ahead and make use of this feature, and please go ahead and take a look at our predefined workflow here. So this will give you an idea, and you can also configure the requester, reviewers, approvers, and executors right here on the LHS. So that is one another topic that we covered in today's session. Now, you all would be familiar with AD delegation, where we are delegating tasks to groups and users from in AD. So another enhancement that came out sometime mid last year, is where we delegate Office 365 and G Suite management and reporting activities to technicians. So how do you go about doing that? So let's say I'm going to modify a specific technician. So I'm going to go ahead and modify this particular technician. So you can create a technician of your own by adding an AD user as a technician by clicking on the add new technician section. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit this particular technician and show you the enhancement that we have. So earlier you might have just had this particular section where you're choosing the domain, the OU, the help desk role, and the templates, right? So now we have a section called as Office 365 and G Suite. So if you click on this drop down icon, you can, so I have configured one specific O365 account. So that is why it is selected. You can choose the domain as well, and you can choose the OU. Licenses. So another important feature that I want to bring about is that I want to bring to your attention is apply OU restriction. Now, what this particular action would do is, now let's say you have delegated only specific OUs to a particular technician, and you do not want uh, the technician to access any other OUs apart from those OUs. So when you apply OU level restriction, it would mean that the technician would be able to access the users specified in only that particular OU. So whatever OU that you have specified here, the technician would be able to access the users and groups in only that particular OU and not in any other OU. So it will check for the OU that you've configured here in AD, OU restriction AD, and then it will take this into account. Similarly, you can go ahead and configure or delegate G Suite accounts as well. So if you have multiple G Suite accounts configured here, you can choose the account and the corresponding domain, right? So once again, as you can see, these delegations bear effect only in the product, and whatever changes that you have made or you've delegated to a particular technician or the permissions that a technician has will remain unchanged in AD, right? So how do you go about choosing specific management actions or reporting actions of Office 365? So once you click on AD delegation, what we did was first we clicked on edit icon right next to the help desk technician, and we did that. So the second thing, if you want to, let's say, create a specific role, then you go ahead and click on create new role. Now I want this role to have permission to perform certain actions in Office 365. So if you click on this icon right here, you can choose the management tasks that that particular technician will have access to perform. So if you want shared mailbox task permission, then you can click on this plus icon, and then you can again granularly delegate those permissions. So you can either check this or uncheck this depending on your need. Similarly, for reports, you can choose to delegate only specific reports. Let's say just the dynamic distribution groups, then you can just go ahead and select that and then go ahead and give the necessary permissions as usual and save. So this is the additional enhancement that we have. Apart from AD delegation, we also have Office 365 and G Suite. Now coming to the integrations. So integrations is a very important topic. So we have plenty of integrations. We support plenty of integrations with help desk tools, HRMS applications, and Syslog and Splunk service. So here you can see that you might be familiar with STP, Service Desk Plus, ServiceNow, and AD Self Service Plus. So we have a new integration right here, which is the Zendesk integration. So you can perform a number of AD management actions right from this particular, if the user is logging onto Zendesk, he can log in and perform a number of AD actions. So what he can do is he can create users in AD, Office 365, Exchange, Skype for Business, and G Suite accounts all at once, right from the help desk, right from the Zendesk console. And apart from that, we also support deleting AD accounts and user account management. Under modification, we support reset password, unlock user accounts, enable or disable user accounts. So we support user provisioning for AD, Office 365, Exchange, Skype for Business, and G Suite. And apart from that, we support deprovisioning AD user accounts. And also in user modification, we support reset password, unlock user accounts, enable or disable user accounts. So that is one recent feature from 2018, Zendesk integration. Now, you might already be familiar with MS SQL and Oracle integration. So earlier we supported automated provisioning of AD user accounts. So whenever you are, let's say an HR is modifying the entry in the database, the tool will fetch that particular, let's say he's entering a new record, a new user record, then the tool will fetch that particular user record and create AD, Exchange, O365 and Skype for Business accounts for that particular user based on the template that you're specifying. Now what we support now is, apart from user onboarding, that is user provisioning, we also support automated modification or deletion of user accounts whenever their corresponding user accounts are modified or deleted from Oracle or MS SQL database. So that is one new enhancement. Now coming to the HRMS applications. So if you're using, let's say, Zoho People or Workday, then this integration offers the capability to automatically, once again, integrated user provisioning, that is, create user accounts in AD, Office 365, Exchange, Skype for Business, and G Suite. So whenever a new employee record is added to the HR application, the tool will fetch that, will identify immediately that a new record has been added, and then goes and then provisions an account, a user account in all these platforms. Similarly, not just user creation. Let's say an HR is modifying one specific attribute value. Let's say the user is being moved from one department to another. So his contact details and his group memberships, and let's say uh, his reporting to a manager is all modified, then what the tool will do is it will immediately identify that these specific attributes have been modified in the HR application, that is Zoho People or Workday, and immediately the tool will modify their corresponding AD attribute values using ADManager Plus. So not just user creation and user modification. Now, if whenever their records are deleted from the HR application, then those user accounts will also get deleted in AD through ADManager Plus. So that is another feature with HRMS application. Now, coming back to the help desk tools. So we did support a bunch of actions earlier, like user creation, user modifications. Now we do support those. Now, apart from that, we support an additional management actions as well. So when you log on to the Service Desk Plus console, the technician will be able to perform the following actions. I'll be listing all those actions. So he'll be able to modify the department, modify the manager, add users to groups, remove users from groups, set or remove folder permissions. So these are some of the new capabilities that we added to the Service Desk Plus console. So he can, these actions will be available under the service catalog, and he can perform these actions, these AD management actions, right from the SDP console. And for enhanced user management, we can also perform certain following the actions that I'll be listing using user modification templates. So the user will be able to enable or disable users, reset password, unlock users, once again modify department, manager, and add to or remove from groups. So apart from the existing capability, we can also add few, you can also perform a bunch of new actions from the SDP and the ServiceNow console. So that's that. So moving to log forwarding. So earlier we supported only log forwarding to syslog. So now you can integrate your Splunk server and you can configure the AD management logs using AD, that is the actions performed in AD using ADManager Plus to Splunk server as well. So once again, the configuration to integrate all these applications are really simple. All you have to do is just click on that and then enter the server details and then just click save. So, and then the tool will get linked to those particular tools that you've configured. Right. So that those are some of the most recent features that has happened that was introduced in 2018. Now coming to 2019. So before that, I want to uh, talk about another topic which you might be familiar with already. So this is called as the notification profile. So you can see that on the LHS. So in using notification profile, you can configure, let's say you can set any management actions that you're performing using the AD management tab right here. So whatever actions that you're performing, you can go ahead and set a notification profile. So let's say an action is create user. So you can go ahead and click the action right here and you can set the template as well. So you can go ahead and choose a template from the notification template section. So you just click on the edit icon and you can go ahead and create a new template right here, or you can go ahead and choose the existing one. So if it's user creation, you can go ahead and click that. You can also click on the edit icon right here and modify these as well. So similarly for SMS too, you can modify it and you can click OK. So so we do support email and SMS notification. Now another new enhancement that we have brought forth is now you can configure real-time email notifications alone for all the management actions performed, uh, including the ones executed using automation and workflow. Now, what is the difference with this particular feature is one thing through automation workflow, yes, we do allow new notifications, but we do support new uh, actions. So right here, when you are specifying the notification template, you will have a limited number of macros that you can add. So you can see the manager name, the domain name, the action time, what the username is, what is the status, and all. Now we support additional details such as the title, department, and the SAM account name. So that is one new enhancement that we've added to the notification profile. Now another feature that I want to bring about is, so if you click on the O365 tab, now we have moved all the O365 management actions from the AD management tab and we have moved it to O365 tab, exclusive Office 365 tab. Now what we're doing is we're doing this in phases. So that would mean that all the actions that you're performing, so all the management actions would be moved. So we're moving it in phases and you will be able to see that all the management actions and reporting actions would be completely under Office 365. So rather than accessing it from AD management and AD reports, it would be easier to just access everything from one point. Now here in inactive users, so I'm going to view the inactive users for Office 365 alone. So I have a report already generated here. So what was the feature that, it wasn't present earlier was, now none of these Office 365 report supported management from report. So by management from report, I mean once you generate a report, you have options to perform management actions from the results that are displayed in the report. So Now, inactive users of Office 365 allows you to perform certain management actions from those reports. So if you select all, then you have an option of revoking all licenses. So once you click revoke all the licenses associated to that particular or these inactive users will be removed, and you can assign those licenses to active users. So that is one specific feature. And if you click on more actions right here, you have assign and remove licenses. So what this option does is it will take you to the assign and remove licenses page, and you can choose the you can choose the licenses that you want to remove. So I want to remove only certain licenses, then you can click on remove selected licenses, and you can specify the location and click apply. Or another option that you can perform is, once again, let me take you back to the Office 365 and active users report. So right here you have the mailbox management. So you can also perform a bunch of mailbox management related actions right here, such as modifying mailbox delegation, hide from address list, email forwarding and storage limits can be modified, and you can choose to add the additional email addresses, enable and disable litigation hold, and enable or disable in place archive hold. So you can go ahead and do that. So earlier we didn't support that. Now we can do that as well, right? Now I'll be taking you through a couple of really popular, and again, it's not exactly new, but some of our most recent and some of the most popular features of ADManager Plus. So this has got something to do with privileged access management. So under automation, now let's say you are let's say providing temporary group memberships to certain users. So you want to give uh, let's say auditors permission to access your financial uh, data, which is stored in some particular folder or some particular share folder, and you want to give access to that particular, let's say, a specific group which has access to certain resources. Now it's so easy for you as an administrator to just give permission to those particular users, but what happens is most of the time we tend to uh, just forget that we have granted excessive permissions to those users, and those permissions can be misused if not handled properly or in time. So the simplest way to do that is assigning temporary group permissions. Now how do you do that? I click on automation. So you can click on create a new policy right here, and I'm going to choose user automation. So here under instant task, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this user to a particular group, and if I click on, let's say, you can click on the plus icon, and let's say I'm adding that user to certain groups, and you can add a successive task. So what happens is, let's say I want to give users permission to access that particular group, the groups that I've selected, let's say only for 7 days. Then you can go ahead and set after 7, and you can click remove from group. So either you can click on clear all existing group memberships, or you can click on those reports that I gave, those groups that I gave permission to. So that way, what happens is this particular user, now if you're applying this automation policy to create an automation, you can choose to add those users. Let's say you can choose to get those users from a report, or you can choose to uh, upload or import those users from a CSV file, and those users will have access to these groups for a period of 7 days, and 7 days only, beyond which these permissions will be revoked, and then that particular user or those users will not have permission these groups or those the folders that are associated to these groups. So this will ensure that you as an administrator need not check every particular group membership that you have granted, and there are and you can also avoid the chances of forgetting to revoke the permissions. So that is one specific use case here regarding automation. Right. So another important topic that I want to cover in today's session is custom reports. So again, custom reports is quite uh, an important feature. So we do have a bunch of or a huge number, more than 150 reports for users, passwords, groups, computers, exchange, contact, and GPO and OU. But we sometimes there reaches a point where a one size fits all doesn't really apply. So that time you would need to, let's say, create a new report on your own or a new report of your own. Then you can go ahead and do that using the custom report. So right here at the bottom, you have something called as the custom reports. So you can see that there are a number of reports right here. So these have been already created. These are like created for your benefit. So you can go ahead and make use of these reports if you feel that these reports are something that you would be needing and you would be using them. But you can go ahead and create a new custom report as well. So if you click on the new custom report, I see that some of you have asked questions. Kindly please bear with me while I finish the session and then get back to you. I won't be able to take both the question and the session at the same time. Thank you so much. So again, you can see that there's an option of creating a new report as such. So you can specify the report name. Let's say I'm going to take an example of the report that we've already created here. It might give you a better idea. So again, here there's an option of, let's say I want to get a list of users who have been recently created. Let's say users who have been created for the last 30 days but have never logged in. So I want to get a complete overview or the number of users who are matching this particular criteria. So I can go ahead and generate that report and see the recently created but never logged on users. So it looks really easy, and it combines two or three reports, like let's say recently created users, never logged on users, and then it is under one report. So how do I go about doing that? So I can go ahead and I will click on this edit icon and show you how it is configured. So right here we can specify the report name and the description. So you can add that report to any of these categories, such as the user, group, computer, contact. So this is user specific report. So we've added to user reports. You can also add a new category as such. So you can do that. Once again, you can choose the domains and specify the OUs. And right here, this is where you can set the condition. So you can so here we have we have written a query for last logon. So you want to know the users who have not logged in at all after being created. So you can choose to specify a query right here, and you can also set a filter right here. So here you can click on when created, and then you specify the time period here. So in this case, it's last 30 days. So similarly, you can go ahead and add multiple filters right here. So I want, again, you have an option of specifying or and then you can also choose the option like if you want to like further refine the results, then you can go ahead and do that. So I want, let's say, when changed, when created, or any other details, then you can go ahead and do that. And here you can specify the attributes that you wish to view in the result. So you can see that these are the ones that are already, the ones that are already checked are the default value. So this will appear in the report. And if you want to like, if you want to view more results, more details, then you just click on the icons, the check boxes, and then you save. So here you have an option of selecting the custom attributes. If you have custom attributes configured, it'll appear, or you can also choose to add custom attributes right here. So this is the full extent of attributes that you can add to the report, and you click save. So that is one really important feature, custom reports, because sometimes the reports that are displayed here that are predefined might not just suffice. So in such cases, you go on and then create a custom report. So if you know a query, if you want a completely new report, customized completely based on your requirements, then you can go ahead and specify the query right there, and you can do that. So that is custom reports. So with that, we come to the end of the session. So what we did was we saw, I'm just going to summarize the topics that we saw today. And if you have any questions on that, please feel free to reach out to me. I will leave my email address as well. So you can mail me, or you can also, if you have any other technical query, you can reach out to the support team. So what we saw first was we saw how you can customize a dashboard, and you can specify new tabs. You can add new tabs, you can add new widgets and new reports to those. And also you can modify the quick links right here on the RHS and get a complete or an overview of the pending requests that are pending from your end for workflow. That is number of requests that are yet to be reviewed, approved, or executed, and that can be done. Also, you have an option of choosing the domain, so you can choose only one specific domain at a time, so it is less cluttered, and you can get a complete overview of all the details, all the important details for that specific domain. So similarly, you can also perform management actions from these. Right here you have the option of performing delete or disable users for inactive users, and so on and so forth. So we saw that. And then we moved on to another important feature, which is the multiple business workflow, where you can configure any number of reviewers and then approvers. And you can see, you can set a completely new rule based on, or you can configure a new rule and then assign a specific business workflow along with the priority and the notification. And apart from AD delegation and AD management and reporting delegation, you can also delegate Office 365 and G Suite management and reporting. And we also moved on to the integration section, where we covered some of the new features. That is, we support Zendesk integration, and in HRMS application we support Zoho People and Workday. And in database, the enhancement that we covered is you can also the tool will also detect any modification or deletion that is happening in the SQL server or Oracle database, and then the same changes will be replicated in AD as well, right? So another one, what we saw was, apart from syslog, we also support log forwarding to Splunk as well. So that is what we covered in integrations. And we also saw a bunch of new enhancements, that is new features that are supported in SDP, in user management and modification, which was not present earlier. So that was one. And another thing which we saw was we took a quick look at the features that are really popular and relatively new. So we covered management notifications, how in email notifications we support extra details, more details like title, department, and SAM account name, which was not supported earlier. And the next thing that we covered was from inactive Office 365 reports, it's now possible to assign, remove, or revoke Office 365 licenses, and also perform certain Exchange mailbox settings like mailbox delegation, hide from address list, add additional email addresses, and more for those Office 365 inactive users. And we also covered how to temporary manage groups, as in give temporary permissions to users to access to certain groups only. So the tool will take care of that, and you do not have to go ahead and manually check for all the group memberships of those users and then revoke them. So there are chances that you might tend to forget, or there might be chances that there are some manual errors creeping in when you're performing such actions. And we ended with custom reports. So when predefined reports are simply not enough, then you can go ahead and create a completely new report of your own, and you can set a number of filters. You can set a whole new LDAP query, and you can choose to customize how you want the report to look like, what all attributes and what all values has to be displayed. You can go ahead and do that and create a whole new report and any number of reports under custom report section. So with that, I would like to conclude today's session. And if you have any questions, please let me know and I will address them as soon as possible. So I will be giving my email address as well. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. So I have dropped my email address as well. And also, if you have any technical query, you can also reach, let's say you want to upgrade to the latest version, and we are currently on 6.6.5.9. And if you have any questions and you want assistance with upgrading, please reach out to our support team. The email address is support@admanagerplus.com. And they will be able to assist you and then help you for any technical query. For any questions regarding the session, you can also reach out to me. And once you end the session, you will be prompted with a feedback form. So if you have any sort of suggestions, please do let us know, and we will take that into account and make our forthcoming sessions better and more informative for you. So once again, I thank you for taking time off your busy schedule and joining us for this session today. I hope the session was useful, and have a good day. Thank you.